The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Allie Porter and Elise Smith.
Welcome back to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where we talk to visionary founders and leaders, and they reveal how they're using AI to scale smarter and free themselves to focus on what matters most. I'm Elise Smith, your AI business strategist with Millionaire Momentum AI Agency, and we help leaders replace burnout with balance and complexity with clarity through AI-driven systems that scale predictably. So today's guest is someone reframing how executives and entrepreneurs think about AI leadership. I'm joined by the incredible Tim Holmes, the founder of Navigating AI, a consulting and coaching company helping mid-market CEOs learn how to integrate AI as a strategic partner in their business. Totally talking my language. I love it. So not just as a tool, but actually as a co-CEO. Through hands-on workshops, executive coaching, and real-world use cases, Tim helps leaders cut through the noise and use AI to think bigger, delegate better, and create space for what they do best, leading the vision. So welcome to the show, Tim.
Thank you. Thanks for this. It's a great opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get started, I want to kind of talk a little bit about your company. So who do you serve and how do you serve them?
Sure. So we serve business leaders of mostly mid-sized to sometimes some of the larger businesses and associations. Also, we see a huge opportunity with education. So one of our team members is an educator himself and saw a way to help teachers embrace AI because, as you know, there's a lot of fear, but also just a lack of understanding how to use AI within education. So there are some really great tools, and we can get into that later, but understanding how to help from an education standpoint, and then helping business leaders who are struggling to understand how to use AI, not just what to do.
Absolutely. So can you give us an idea of like what kinds of things you help them with, like specifically business owners? How do you help them to use AI?
So one of the reasons we started Navigating AI is there was a quote, I don't know if you follow Shelley Palmer, but Shelley Palmer is an awesome visionary in AI. And one of the quotes from something he had done was, AI isn't necessarily about the tools. There are tools out there. It lacks leadership. And that's where we saw an opportunity because as I was working at an agency at the time, and we were talking to CEOs, and a lot of these, when I would ask CEOs, how are you using it? Most of the time I would get, well, we're using it to write emails, using it to help, IT's creating some, making sure people have ChatGPT and Gemini. But I'm like, no, how are you using it in the business? Well, I'm not. So that to me is a huge opportunity. There are so many good ways and strategic ways to use AI, not just as a tool, not just in order to create better content. It can help you think strategically. It can help you generate new product ideas. So there are a lot of different ways to use that. So for example, one of the things we do is training. So one of the biggest ways that CEOs have been asking us for help is understanding how to best use it for use cases. We've done everything from helping a CEO log on to ChatGPT and get a paid account so that it was safe, to helping companies create custom GPTs so that they could, one was brand guidelines. They wanted to have their brand guidelines on there so that their team had a place to go to find their brand guidelines. We've also helped a company with inventory management. This was a big one. So we set up an agent that was able to help them understand based on what's happening in the marketplace. So it would scour public sites to think about what's happening within their marketplace, but also what's happening within the economy. It would then, we tied it into their inventory, so that it would say, okay, based on what we're saying, you need more of this, or you probably need less of this. So they were able to then scale their inventory and keep a better eye on inventory. So those are some ways of like a scale of like helping log on to helping with inventory management.
I love it. I love that you meet people where they're at as well, because there are different stages of AI.
Yeah.
Right? Like the tools, I think that's where most people start. But there are thousands, if not millions, of AI tools out there, and it can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I love when you can work with someone like Tim or like our company to be able to figure out what it is that your business actually needs and what are the systems that we can put in place and AI agents to build and all of that to be able to help you actually move the needle. So yes, we are kindred spirits for sure. I love it.
I love it. And there is a huge need for this. There's a huge need, because what we're finding is these CEOs, there's a lot of CEOs struggle with being able to admit and being able to talk about what they don't know. So they don't want to talk to their team and say, hey, can you show me how to prompt? Can you help me understand what the right use cases are? Because you're expected to lead. You're expected to know that. And so there is a huge need to just help more leaders. Exactly what you guys are doing and what we're doing is helping them implement and being able to use it in a way that helps their bottom line and helps make sense for them, but also can be a strategic partner and, like the co-CEO.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much more than just tools. If you're in the tools section and you haven't moved into like actually creating AI agents or having somebody do that for you, I mean, you're missing out. But that's a whole nother story. So tell me a little bit about your background. I know you started with the marketing agency and then you switched over to AI coaching. Like how did that happen for you?
Yeah. So in general, when a lot of people within marketing will tell you they're very curious people, we're problem solvers. And so when you're in marketing, you're always looking at how do I attack this problem in a different way? What could I do that's unique? Also, people in marketing are very much about efficiency and effectiveness. So you start to marry that with a tool, with something like AI that is groundbreaking and changes how you think and is unique and different. It's a marriage made in heaven, right? So a little bit about my background. So I started it at marketing agencies here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis. That's where I am. And I was working on accounts like H&R Block, and we were creating we were doing a lot of marketing and advertising for them. And then I moved into B2B and some more of the ag space. And especially here in Minneapolis and Minnesota, there's a huge need for that type of marketing. But what was unique is every time the business leaders were always looking for, okay, it's not just about how do we talk to our customers, but how are we helping them solve problems? And so you're constantly thinking about it from a strategic standpoint. Mm-hmm. And then at the latest agency where I most recently was, I started learning more and more about AI, and I was very curious about how we could use it for good, how we could use it to help our customers, to help the agency. And I'm generally a much more optimistic person, and so I was trying to figure out. I know there are a lot of people that talk about there are some ways that people are using AI for not good, but I'm choosing to find ways to bring it to help people and to help companies find more time. So how can we use AI to make ourselves more efficient so that we don't have to do the daily tasks? We don't have to do the repetitive things. For example, at marketing agencies, timesheets are still a big deal. People don't like doing timesheets because that's not, A, it's not billable. B, it's not fulfilling. So what are the things that are not fulfilling that you can have AI help you with so that you can do the fulfilling things that you would love to do? And so to me, that became more and more of an opportunity. And as I started talking to some of the CEOs that we work with, and they were just very unsure of how to use it, I thought there's a need in the marketplace for this. And so I started navigating AI with a couple of partners who are helping, one on the business side and one on the education side. And we're really passionate about finding companies that are looking for ways to be more efficient, to help not replace your employees, but how do we help make your employees more fulfilled? How do we help you make your employees want to do more to help the company and elevate them? And so that to me is way more exciting than how do we find a way to replace them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I think that that's the number one thing that people think of, even in our world of like, we're helping businesses to be more efficient and effective and helping them to grow their bottom line. But that doesn't mean cutting people.
Right.
It just means making people more efficient and effective in what they're doing, and probably even more satisfied with their job because of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you want people, I think and we can get to this more in later, but in the future, I think it's going to be more about human connection. And AI is going to allow for that, because if we're able to take off some of the redundant tasks, some of the things that we're not loving, it's going to free us up to do some of the more human connection activities. So I think it is going to really revolutionize how we interact as humans, and I believe that that's going to be in a much better way.
Yeah. Isn't that so fascinating to think about? Like, we went through COVID and we were on lockdown, and I mean, it was just a crazy time, right? And even like churches and everything were just shut down. You couldn't get together as groups of people. And after we came out of that, it was like there's a whole new premium, so to speak, on human connection. And we felt that for a little while, and then it kind of just became normal of human connection, we're back to it. But it seems like that we're being taken back into that again with AI, because we go to the extreme on these things of like, people talking to AI instead of, their spouse or whatever it might be. But then we start realizing the importance and the powerful impact that it has for us to connect human to human. And we can do that even more powerfully now, because sometimes, I mean, I know for like my spouse and I, like, we disagree on some different things, and I might chat with my chat GPT about like, what's a way to look at this from Chris's perspective, so that we can, have better relationships. But even in business too, I mean, we created a AI agent that helps you to problem solve with your business partner or with team members, or making sure that each person feels heard. So I love that you're bringing this to the human connection. I mean, we can talk about AI and robots and all of that, but it's about the human connection, isn't it?
100%. And you think about where we were, to your point, just even like, more people wanted to work from home, and more people wanted to, be able to call into the office, and businesses struggled with that. They struggled with, what's that right balance. And to your point, COVID hit, and all of a sudden we were forced to do it, and we proved that we can do it. So we can be productive, but that doesn't make us more satisfied. It doesn't make us feel that human connection. So then we come out of COVID, and now there's sort of at first it was, well, we proved it, let's try to figure out how do we meet people where they are. And now there's more of a call for return to work, because there has been that feeling and that sense of, when you're in the office or when you're in the same room together, your bodies tend to, you feed off of each other. You feed off of that energy. You try to regulate your body against others. So there's a whole different feeling when you're in person. I was recently at a workshop, and I can't tell you how many people were like, this is amazing to be in person. Like, you're so much on screen all the time, that it just reinforced that more and more people are enjoying being face to face and having that human connection. And I think AI is going to give us that ability more
Mhm.
in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even just opening up more time to have human
Yeah,
connections. So
right.
I love it. Well, let's talk about your business in particular. Everybody kind of goes through some hurdles at first and
Yeah.
lessons learned. So would you mind being vulnerable and sharing some of those first lessons that kind of helped you to get to where you're at right now?
So one of the first lessons that I learned was starting a business. A lot of times, even as a marketer, I knew this, but you don't realize it as much until you experience the fact that it's really hard to get people to be aware of what you do and then be able to trust you, because all of a sudden you're now a new face. So who is this navigating AI company? And are they just another fly by night company that's trying to take advantage of AI?
Mm,
Or is this a strategic company? And then how do you build that? Because when you're a services company, it's not just here's a product and you buy it. You're having to get people to trust you, to be aware of you. So to me, that was the hardest part, and still is a challenge. And it's a challenge for many multi-million dollar companies, where you're trying to get people to help, to trust you and to want to work with you and to believe that you can help them, so they're going to let you in. So to me, that was the biggest hurdle. And finding ways to use AI, whether that's helping to create content or brainstorming, as a co-CEO, was something that, I that's how I started to use AI, even just within my own business.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So, what kind of systems do you have in place to grow your business? I mean, we've talked a little bit about some AI things that you're doing, but what helps you to be able to keep scaling?
So a couple of things. One is, again, back some of it is back to relationships. So starting with people that you know and people that you have, had a relationship with, and start with that, and then begin to build on some of those use cases. So we're using, the way I talk about navigating AI is that it should be human led, AI, um, AI supported.
Yes.
So to me, it's about starting with that human connection, but then using AI to help build out content. So helping to scale is, finding ways to utilize the content you have, and how can we create short snippets from the content that we're creating, or how do we use it to help brainstorm different ways for a company for their use cases. So that's one way we're using it to help scale. Another way is we are actually using it to help from a, outreach perspective. Is how do we use it with, LinkedIn, or within a Facebook, and how do we figure out who the right types of people are, so that as a human we can then reach out. We're not using AI to actually do the reaching out, because to me, you have to be authentic. You have to bring in that human piece, because people are going to see right through AI, and as they should. And in fact, that's one of the things that we teach, is how can you tell, what are some of the key giveaways that something is AI and it's not necessarily as authentic? Because these CEOs are asking, like, how do I know if this is real or not? And so we help teach that. So finding ways that you are then able to use AI to then reach out from a human perspective, and that to me is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that you're focused on leadership. There was that quote that you said in the very beginning, which can I ask you to repeat that one more time for
Yeah.
Julie?
The AI, and in fact, I can, pull up the exact quote here, because I use it a lot. So, the great AI transformation of 2025 isn't a technology challenge, it's a leadership challenge. The tools are already here. What's missing is the executive vision and operational discipline to use them. So, in a nutshell, the way people are using should be using AI. It's not about the tools. And I last looked, there are 30 to 40,000 tools depending on the platform you look at, AI tools. So 30 to 40,000 tools. It is impossible to understand what the right tools are for you. Number one. Number two, there isn't a need for necessarily a lot of new tools. There are use for agents within your business, but not necessarily new tools, because they're out there and there are some really good ones. It's about the leadership. How do we think about this from a strategic standpoint? In fact, I did a TikTok, and I wrote a blog post about the top 5 things CEOs should be doing right now. So those are the types of things that help companies think about AI from a strategic standpoint.
Yes, because it starts with us as the leaders, right?
Yes.
It starts with that human prompt. Even, there's the difference between generative AI, right? Like the chat GPTs, the LLMs, that type of thing, where you give it a prompt and then it spits out, social media content or whatever it is that you want it to do, maybe even a graphic. And then there's agentic AI, which is really exciting. That's when you actually have AI agents that are doing things for you as if they're like a virtual employee. And there's so much that we can do there, and it's growing every single day. But even if it's generative, where you're putting in the prompt, even on the agentic side, where it can really think for itself a lot of times, there still has to be a prompt. It starts with a human. And so I think that that's so important for us to remember the leadership piece of that. So it kind of leads me into, you said that one of the things that you like to do is help your businesses that you work with really add AI as like a co-CEO. What does that mean in practice?
So high level, what it means, and then I'll get into the practice specifics. What it means is the way I've found a lot of success using ChatGPT and Gemini is finding ways to have it think and spar with you. So not just it is, as you know, and probably a lot of your listeners know, it is by default agreeable. So it's going to agree with you. It's going to tell you you're awesome and what a great idea. I'll make that change. But that's not helpful. So what's helpful is, yes, I understand where you're coming from, but here's a different way to think about it, or to spar with you and say, that's probably not a good idea, but here's why. And having a place you can go to have someone to bounce ideas off of that thinks like you or understands what your goals are for your company, and be able to think about different ways to do that. So it's like literally having a co-CEO. So the idea is having a strategic partner that's there to not just agree with you, but to be able to spar with you and develop new ideas. So that's the idea. So in practice, what we've done that has been really successful is creating a custom GPT. And you and your audience probably are more familiar with custom GPTs, but there's been research that came out recently, and then even just in who I've talked to with CEOs, almost nobody is either using them or even know about them. So I was talking to a CEO the other day, and I said, have you thought about creating a custom GPT that could allow you to put in this form that he was doing? And he's like, what's a custom GPT? So custom GPTs, and I know you're fully aware of it, but those are the ability to create your own AI within ChatGPT and within Gemini. So in Gemini, they're called gems, and within ChatGPT, they're called custom GPTs. So it's super easy. Custom GPTs sound so complicated, and it's so easy. You're giving it a title, and then you literally can prompt it. So what I advise, and I have a template that I have created, and then we adjust it based on the needs. But you give it your voice, you tell it that you don't want it to always be agreeable. You then give it examples of things you've written, thought leadership pieces, things that you think are really good, and then who you want to emulate. And then you give it instructions, very specific instructions about, when I give you a problem, your job is to think like me, but to give me 2 or 3 different ways to think about this. To come up with new ideas. So tell it to come up with new ways to approach a problem. And so once you have given it that context, and you've told it how to act, and then you literally just hit save, you now have the ability to just go in there, and it's already trained on your what you've given it, your words, your context, and it goes to that context first versus going out into the universe to look for it. It looks your context first, then we'll go out and look for ideas, and then marry those two. So now you have a strategic partner that's there at any point. You just click on that button and it's super easy, but transformational.
Yes. I love how easy you made that, because it really, I mean, the first time I created a custom AI agent, like, it sounded scary. And then when I got into it, I was like, this is absolutely amazing. And you can have so many different custom AI agents for the different roles that you want your co-CEO to play, and be able to help your team members too. And if you don't want to learn it yourself, you can of course always come to Navigating AI or M2 AI Agency. You can definitely work with any of us, and we can do that for you. But I think just helping people to understand what's possible with partnering with AI, not replacing people with AI, but really partnering with it, has been just so interesting, in thinking about what it is that you actually need in your business right now. Because if there's 30, 40,000 tools out there, you don't need every single one of them. In fact, you probably only need a couple.
That's right.
Or personalized AI agents that are built for you. So I love this conversation. I think it's so amazing. But I want to ask, for Navigating AI, where do you see yourself going in the next 6 to 12 months? What does your dream version of your business look like?
So one of the things that, from a philosophical standpoint, one of the reasons we started this is it's about education. So it's about helping companies find ways to use the people you have and make them better, so there's more time to think, or more time to do what you believe is going to help. But then personally, it's allowing us more time, because we're able to not working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. We're able to make a difference. But then as a business, we're able to use less people. Like, we don't have to hire more people to do some of these things. So for example, if we're creating content, there's some of that we can do ourselves. So it's about using your team strategically and allowing us for more time as well as a business. So how we can spend more time with our family, or spend more time with a business from a strategic standpoint, versus how do we fill out the paperwork or get the invoicing in there. There are tools to help us do that, so that we can spend more time doing the things that we love, which give us energy, which is being face to face. And being face to face is with our family, being face to face with our customers. So to me, scaling this business is about, how do we help the right number of people where we can enjoy what we're doing and spend more time with our own families, or spend more time doing the things that we love to do, while helping make a difference.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting when you think about, what are you trying to open up your time for? It's not so that you can, write more content. It's not so, it's about those people and the relationships, even personal hobbies a lot of times, including going fishing with the kids or whatever it might be. And so I think that that's such a cool perspective to have, of the human aspect and how important it is, and how AI makes it even more important than what we thought it was before. So this has been such a great conversation. I'm so glad that you joined us today, Tim.
Yeah. No, thank you. I really appreciate this. This is really fun. I love talking about finding ways to help people so that they can be happier, because ultimately that's where I think the possibilities for AI are. I think the future of AI is a way to get more of that human connection.
And that just makes us happy. So I love it. Okay, well, I know that people will probably want to connect with you. So we'll show navigatingai.co as your website. So definitely check that out. Any other place that you'd like them to connect with you?
Yeah, we have a TikTok channel that we just launched, where we're talking about giving tips. So things like top 5 things that CEOs should be doing right now, or how to create a custom GPT. So we're going to start sharing some of those tips as well. So and it's navigatingai.co. So
awesome. Perfect. Well, we'll make sure we have that link in the show notes as well. But thank you once again for being here. Love your heart, love the vision that you have for AI, because that's what it's really all about. So you're amazing.
No, thank you. This has been an amazing opportunity, and I could talk about this all day. So appreciate the time and the platform.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Mastering AI Momentum, where we turn curiosity into clarity and ideas into intelligent action so that you can spend more time with the people that you love. So we will see you next time on Mastering AI Momentum Show. Bye.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.